Wednesday. Let's get this started right away, jumping into news. Bears acquired wide receiver Dontrell Inman from the Chargers for a conditional 7th-round pick. It's going to be based on the amount of snaps and production he has in the Bears, so I expect he probably meets that because I think he immediately comes in and becomes that team's wide receiver 1, as gross as that is. So he should actually be a target in 12, 14, or 16 team leagues if you need kind of a desperation flex type play this week. Stefon Diggs is traveling with the team to London. He has a good chance to play Week 8 against the Browns. And according to Minneapolis' Ben Gosling from the Star Tribune, I think he probably will go. We got a limited session in today. He is going to go to London. So I think we are expecting to see Stefon Diggs out there, but I'm not sure we'll see him at 100%. I know in our show rankings we have Thielen ahead of him, and I think we're going to keep that way going through our final rankings. Martavis Bryant said Coach Mike Tomlin told him he'll be inactive for Sunday night's Week 8 game against the Lions. This is due to a bunch of reasons. Him blowing up on Instagram, him throwing a fit in the locker room, skipping mandatory team meetings. Basically, they're just slapping him with a, yeah, you're not playing if you're going to keep behaving this way. So hopefully he gets his nose clean. He's a guy with a lot of talent, but he just can't seem to get out of his own way. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this long term, but for now, Martavis Bryant is borderline droppable in any sort of redraft league. Michael Thomas, unfortunately, did not practice on Wednesday with a knee issue. This is not a known issue. We don't know where it came from, what happened. So monitor injury reports very closely over the next 2 days and see if he gets at least a limited session in, if not a full session in by Friday. I will be back to cover this more on In and Out on Saturday with you guys. According to MLive's Kyle Meinke, Golden Tate with a shoulder injury is expected to miss Week 8 against the Steelers. But he did get a limited session in on Wednesday and has not been ruled out yet. So there is a chance we may still see Golden Tate this week. He's a tough son of a bitch. It'd be interesting to see him play through that injury. But I think more than likely than not, we'll see him miss Week 8. And we might be lucky enough to get him back Week 9. Lastly, for the news, I've got ESPN's Jamison Hensley reports Ben Watson probably is going to miss Week 8 against Miami. He's dealing with a knee issue. It's a short week. He hasn't been able to get any practice in. He's going to be a game-time decision. If you got him in your lineup, watch really, really closely this week heading into the game and make sure that you pull him if he gets ruled inactive. I just don't really like any of the replacement tight ends there in Baltimore if he doesn't go either, so I wouldn't really worry about anybody else on that roster if he doesn't go. Let's go ahead and jump into starts and sits this week. For the starts, and I did switch it this week, we did actually get our rankings together in time before I recorded, so I'm actually going to do based on show rankings rather than my own rankings. For starts, I've got quarterback Kirk Cousins, show rank 6 right now. Basically, he gets a Dallas defense who's 10th worst in the league against the pass. It's going to be a very high over-under game. Should be close to 50 to 52 range between these two offenses, and it should be a massive shootout where Kirk Cousins is going to be hucking the ball. They've really struggled getting their running game going, even though it's not going to be against the toughest run defense. Their offensive line is hurt, so expect them to use Cousins with the quick passing game and high volume to get this offense going. Should be a very good start for you this week. Running back, we have Christian McCaffrey, show rank 10, so he comes in as a running back 1. If he faces a depleted Tampa Bay defense, they just put Ayers on IR today, and I expect some more injury reports to come out this week on that defense. They haven't been healthy all year. They're bottom 10 at run defense so far this year. In addition, they give up a ton of passing yards. They'll straight up run McCaffrey out of the slot to get him involved. He's getting about 10 targets a game. So he should feast in this game. Expect a big one out of him, and I'm putting the rubber stamp of approval that you should start him. Even Hopper, who hates Panthers, put the rubber stamp on this player. Demaryius Thomas, we got him at show rank 11. We're just double dipping on the whole Kansas City thing. He basically, at this point, has had a really tough season, but Kansas City just was Amari Cooper's get-right game where he went for 38 points. They're second worst in the league against wide receivers when it comes to scoring defense, and Demaryius Thomas is by far the most talented receiver in that receiving corps, so expect him to get fed and try to get that passing game working again. At tight end, we got Kyle Rudolph, show rank 6 overall for him. He gets the Browns defense, second worst in the NFL against tight ends. It's going to be a situation where you expect Diggs to either not play or be hobbled. Rudolph should get very high volume and is a situation where he's got a really good shot at a touchdown against a Browns defense that likes to give him up to tight ends. So start him with confidence. I actually had him as my 4th overall tight end. The rest of the show was the ones that brought him down a little bit more. And lastly, my defense stream of the week, Cincinnati, show rank 2. It's a very solid defense, and they're facing a Colts team that gives up 8.3 points on average to opposing defenses. So that's kind of your floor, considering this is one of the better defenses Indianapolis has faced all year. So expect good things from them. It should be a very good matchup for Cincinnati, and they should feast. On to the sits. I am sitting the rookie Deshaun Watson this week. Show rank 13, so he slips just outside of your top 12 into a fringe play. He's been very good this year, but he's facing the third toughest pass defense so far this year in terms of fantasy points given up, and it is on the road in a very tough matchup. Do not expect a lot out of Watson this week. He may still get you a decent floor, but don't expect any 4 or 5 touchdown games out of him. For running back, we got Tevin Coleman, show rank 28. He barely sneaks into the top 30, and that's with 6 teams on bye this week. So in a normal week, this would be close to rank probably 35 to 40. So we're backing off Coleman. He's just not getting the work. Freeman's barely getting enough to keep him in the top 10. But overall, this is starting to become a situation where Coleman is just losing all his value when he's only getting 5 to 8 touches a game. He really needs to be more in that 12 to 14 range for him to be startable week in and week out. Terrell Pryor, this is more of less a sit and more a drop. He's lost his job to Josh Doxson. He's getting less than 50% of the snaps. Doxson is going to be running 80 to 90% now out of the X slot, which is Terrell Pryor's role. So in anything smaller than 12 team, 100% just boot him off your team. 12 team is maybe a hold. You might think about dropping him there depending on how short your bench is. 14, 16, you probably have to keep him just in case he can get this turned around, but it's not looking good right now. If you can try to sell him, I would do it, but I don't think you can get anything for him at this point. In my last sit of the week, Jack Doyle comes in at 13, just outside of our top 12, so he's also a fringe play, mainly due to the buys. If this was a normal week, he'd probably be closer to 15 to 18. He's been a solid floor play most weeks, but right now he's getting a top 10 defense against tight ends. It's going to be a really ugly matchup. They should get down early, and I just don't see where Indianapolis is going to get their offense going this week. So he might get you some decent PPR floor, but that's about all you can expect. If you can avoid him, I definitely would. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys, to your new shots and starts and sits today. We always appreciate you guys checking us out. You can follow the show at BeerfieldFF on Twitter. Individually, I am at Nick Sparts. I'm here Wednesdays and Saturdays to cover your starts, sits, and your in and outs for this week. Starting next week, I'll be taking over Thursday, the Anything Goes Thursday. I think I'm going to mainly use that for Dynasty deep dives, but keep an eye on there. It'll probably be something random every single week. And Dan will be taking over this segment starting next week because due to a schedule shift for him, so he'll be doing Wednesdays and Mondays now. He's doing Studs and Duds, and that is at 30BFF. And then you've got Christopher Hopper is going to be doing your Tuesday content with waivers, and he'll still be doing Fridays with DFS. And as always, I'll still be here every Saturday with you for your in and outs. Hopper and I will still be here every Sunday answering your start-sit questions or anything else you want to throw at us before games kick off Sunday morning. We'll be with you bright and early for the last London game, so expect us to be on at about 7:30 in the morning. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Please like and subscribe to the channel, Beer Fueled Fantasy Football here on YouTube, and we'll catch you guys next time.